Okay. Today we are going to continue with the grammar section, page 84. Look at your books on page 84, lesson 3, unit 6. Today we are going to talk about the conditional sentences, hypothetical conditionals. If clause, if with, conditional sentences. As usual, here we have, the objectives to construct a correct present hypothetical sentence, to apply implied conditional sentences, to identify hypothetical conditionals, and to construct a correct past hypothetical sentences, to write sentences using as if or as though. Now, here we have, the present hypothetical conditionals. We use them to talk about, imaginary situations, imagined sentences. To talk about imaginary situations in present refers to present. Look at the sentence. Who can read the example? Who can read the example? Ahmed Taysir, are you here?
Yes, teacher.
Please read the example here. If you ask me or my
If you
opinion.
if you asked me for my opinion, I would tell you the truth.
Good. If you ask me my opinion, I would tell you the truth. You realize here we use the simple past after if, and the second part we use, the model with past model with verb, let us say, without endings. If we knew where she lived, we could send her flowers. So here we talk about something which is called present hypothetical conditions, to talk about imagined sentences, imaginary situations. Look at the form. We use if with the simple past. You realize here the if clause has what? Verb to. If plus verb to, the result clause would be what? Would or might or could plus the infinitive without to. Here, the models. Would refers to what? To fairly certain. Might, possibility, but not certain. Could, refers to what? To ability. We can change, the order of the sentences. We can start with the result clause, then the if clause. But here we have to put if in the small letter. We could send her flowers if we knew where she lived. I would tell you the truth if you ask me my opinion. So this is about, the first part, which is, the present. Look here, present hypothetical conditions. Now, if you want to talk about the past hypothetical conditions, it will be different. Here we talked about, imaginary situations to talk about things that didn't happen. And, we wish that it happened, that didn't happen in the past. Also, we use it to express regret or criticism. Look at the example. Who can read the example? Abdullah Amin, are you here? Abdullah? Ahmed Azzam?
Yes.
Yes, please. Read the example here.
If I had studied harder, I might have passed the test.
Good. If I had studied harder, I might have passed the test. So you realize that the sentence is what? Imagined sentence. Now, if you ask you about, the facts, what are the facts for the sentence? If I had studied harder, it means I didn't study. This is the fact, and I didn't pass the test. So here, if you want to talk about the facts, I didn't study and, I failed or I didn't pass. So here we use what? Imagined sentences. We imagine the opposite. Look at the second example. If Ali had gotten a gold medal, he would have been happy. You realize after, for if clause here we have past perfect, had plus verb 3, had plus verb 3. The second part, what the result clause, we use might or would plus what? Have verb 3, verb 3. If Ali had gotten a gold medal, he would have been happy. But this is what imagined sentence. But what about the facts? The facts what? That Ali didn't, get a gold medal and he wasn't happy. Look here, these are the facts. Ali didn't get a gold medal, so he wasn't happy. Now here the form of the past hypothetical conditions. Here talking about the past. To talk about imaginary situations didn't happen in the past. Sometimes we express regret or criticism. We use if plus past perfect had with verb 3. The second part, or the, let us say, the clause, result clause, we use would or might or could, have, and the verb 3. Here we have two forms. The first one type 2, the second is the type 3. Here we have a note. If he were you, he would study hard. You realize here he, singular form, takes what? Where. We can use was. Was or where can be used with the subjects I, he, she, it, etc. with the singular form. Was or where. But you will realize that where is more, formal. Where is more formal than, was. And it is usually used in writing. So if he was you, we can use it. But, where is more formal. If he were, if I were you, if I were you, if I was you. Okay. Now here we have some examples that we have to do. Number one, who can do it? Put the verbs in the correct tense to finish the hypothetical conditional sentences. Who can try? Number one, I think it is very easy. Just look at the second part. You will know the, let us say, the first one. Abdullah Amin. Usaid, are you here, Usaid?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, please try to do the first one.
If he wait a second, teacher. Okay, sorry. If he had a fast car, he would drive at high speeds all the time.
You realize here in the second, in the result clause, we have would plus verb 1. So would it drive? So after if here, we have to use the simple past. Here, if simple past, the second part must be past model plus verb 1. Now, what about the second? Who can try? Sharif? Who can read? Here we have if, had, verb 3. Yes, if it had rained all weekend,
the game would have
the game would or could or might have been what? Cancelled. Talking about, possibilities, so we use might. Good. You realize here we use if, then had rained, past perfect. The second part, past model plus have plus verb 3. Number 3, We can try. Abdurrahman, Mahroug. Uday.
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Read the third.
If he were smart, he wouldn't drive so fast.
Good. You realize here we have B. We can use was or were, but as we said before, where is more formal. If he were smart, he wouldn't drive so fast. Would drive or wouldn't drive. Here we have but what? The first or the second type. This is if plus, simple past. Then here we have would plus verb 1. Number 4, who can do it? Yanal, are you here?
Yes, teacher.
Read number 4, please.
If we had reviewed our notes every day, we would have remembered the lesson better.
Good. If we had reviewed our notes every day, we would have remembered the lesson better. Good. Number 5, who can try? Abdurrahman Musa. Abdurrahman. Atif. Nidal. Where are you, Shabab? Abdurrahman Raed. Abdul Hamid, Abdul Mu'in. Yes, Abdullah Amin. Read number 5. Yes, number 5.
If I walked to school every day, I would stay in shape.
Good. Here we have to use, the first form. If I walk to school every day, I would stay. Here we talked about the present hypothetical conditions, this type 2. This is, called type 2, and this is, called type 3. Ashraf, number 6, read.
If I had time, I would learn.
Good. The previous one here. If I had the time, I would learn to speak French. Like, the type 2. Good. Now let's move to the, here finished the hypothetical conditional sentences. Again, look here at the structure, look at the form. If they had more money, Ashraf, you can complete the sentence. Here we have simple past, so here we have to use past model plus verb 1. Look here, if they had more money, they would fly to London. We use simple past, would plus verb 1. Here we have another example. Who can read? Ahmed Taysir.
Yes, teacher.
Read it, please.
If I had found my wallet, your wallet, I would have returned it to you.
Good. Here we have past perfect. So the second part must be would have plus what? Verb 3. If I had found your wallet, I would have returned it to you. Good. This is, the type 3 of the conditional sentences. Here we have implied conditional sentences. When we talk about, the implied conditional sentences, here, the if clause is implied rather than stated directly. Just you understand it without being in front of you. Implied. Look at the examples. I would tell you the truth. Look here, we have hidden conditional. If you ask me, I would tell you the truth. No need to write, the if clause. Just giving what the result clause. This is what we mean by implied condition. I might have passed the test. If I had studied, I might, have passed the test. We would have helped you. If you had asked us, we would have helped you. I would have called the police if I had been there. Conditional verbs are used in the result clause. Here are the two forms, past model and past model plus have plus verb 3. Look here, you are at the supermarket. You see your brother take a small toy and put it in his pocket. What would you do? What would you do? Look here. I would tell him, or I would make him put it back. Here, what do you mean by implied conditions? Now here we have a new structure using what? As if or as though. These are unreal situations. We use the simple past and the past perfect after these two expressions. We use them to suggest that something is unreal or untrue. Look at the example. Who can read the example? Yes, Yanal, read the example.
He talks as if he were an expert in the field.
Good. He talks as if he were an expert in the field. You realize as if followed by what? Simple past. Sometimes it is what? Followed by past perfect. Look at the second sentence. Who can read? They act. They act as though they hadn't cheated on the test. Look here. Had, hadn't, cheated. Had cheated. Here we have past perfect. They act as though they hadn't cheated on the test. Look here. As if or as though, followed by past verb. Sometimes, they followed by past perfect, had plus verb 3. Complete. I try to talk as if I, or they, be here.
If I were.
Yes, if I were a few years older. We can use if I was, but whereas we said before, it is more formal than was. Now here also, she laughed as though she, we can use what? Past perfect or simple past. We can say thought or had thought. Both of them are correct. So this is about the two expressions, as if or as though. Here, Jinan is not a queen, behaving as if. We can say she is behaving as if she were a queen, I think. Look here. She is behaving as if she were a queen. As if, followed by simple past or followed by past perfect. Look here. Ali didn't know the answer. He acts as though or as if, as as you like here. Here we have to use as though. And we can use as though he knew or had known the answer. We use the past perfect. Okay, now look at your books on page 84. Exercise A, Shabab. Rewrite each sentence as a conditional sentence. Look at the example. My sister doesn't know what happened, so she's not mad at me. Here we are going to, let us say, use the opposite imagined sentence. If my sister knew what happened, she would be mad at me. Brahim doesn't take good care of himself. That is why he gets sick so often. We can say, if Ibrahim took care of himself, if Ibrahim took, here we just, we want to imagine the opposite. If he took good care of himself, he wouldn't get sick. Number 2, who can read? He had an accident because he wasn't driving carefully enough. Ahmed Azam, read the answer.
Okay. If he had driven more carefully, he wouldn't have had an accident.
Yes, but the facts are, he had an accident, and because he wasn't driving carefully. These are the facts. Now here we can imagine the opposite. If he had driven more carefully, he wouldn't have had an accident. Number 3, I took the course because I didn't know how hard it would be. Now, if you want to imagine the opposite, we can use what? The past hypothetical condition, type 3. If I had known, for example, if I had known how hard this course would be, I wouldn't have taken it. Number 4, he isn't my son, so I cannot tell him what to do. This is in the present hypothetical, conditional. So we have to use the type 2. If he were my son, I could tell him what to do. Okay, have a screenshot. And move to the second page, 85, exercise B. Exercise B. In exercise B here, we are going to write what you would do or what would have done in each situation. Sometimes we will use the implied conditional sentences. Look at the example. Ali uses his friend's computer and accidentally deletes an important file. He decides not to tell his friend. Now, what about you? What would you have done if you were Ali? Here the example, I would have told my friend the truth. Number 1, who can read the situation? Yanal, read the situation, please. Uday.
Yes, teacher.
Read.
When
When
Aisha
Aisha-
got home from the bookstore, she realized that he hadn't been charged for one of the books she bought. She went back to the bookstore to pay for it. What would you have done?
Good. What would you have done? Suppose that you were Aisha and forgot to pay for one of the books that she bought. What would you have done? Maybe I would, have called them. I would have paid them. I would have called them and told them about the mistake. I would have, let us say, paid it again. Number 2, who can read? Ashraf, are you here? Read about number 2.
Yes, Mr. I'm here.
Read the situation in number 2, please.
While pulling out of the supermarket parking lot, Hamid hits another car. There is a small dent on the other car. Hamid can't decide what he should do. What would you do?
Yes, I would wait for the other driver to come out. I would, for example, put my phone number to call me later. So here we have different answers. Thank you. Number 3, Fatima bought a new dress. She tries it on and, ask what Maha thinks of it. Maha doesn't like it, but she says she does. What would you have done? I would have told Fatima that I like the dress too. So this is about exercise, B. Move to exercise C. Use the cue here, words to write in new sentences with as though or as if. Bianca is not a queen. Look at the example. Behaving as if. She's behaving as if she were a queen. Number one, Sharif, read, you know, the I'm not dreaming. Feel as
I'm
though.
not dreaming.
the-
Feel
Mhm.
as though I feel
I
as though I
feel
were dreaming.
good. I feel as though I were dreaming. Good. We are not rich, but we are spending, you know, money as if. Yes, Abdulaziz. We are spending money as
We are spending money as though we were rich.
good. We are spending money as though we were rich. Asma doesn't like Sophia, but you know, she acts as though she liked Sophia, or we can see she had liked. The same here. You didn't see something scary, but you look as if you had seen or saw. We can use had seen or saw something scary. Number 5, Adil is not an old man, but you know, he walks as though he were an old man. So this is about, you know, the third exercise. Okay, now go to your homework, please. Go to your homework.